ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवते उत्तमः श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। नमः पङ्कजनाभाय नमः पङ्कजमालिने नमः पङ्कजनेत्राय नमस्ते पङ्कजाङ्ग्रहे। ॐ ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिन् इति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So
Hare Krishna.
welcome you all once again. I will continue today our discussion on the revision of Srimad Bhagavatam. So let me share the slides. Okay, so a quick recap on what we discussed yesterday. So we were discussing a revision of Canto 1 and onwards. So yesterday we discussed about Canto 1 and Canto 2. So first thing we discussed about the who is Lord Sri Krishna, or what is the meaning of absolute truth. So the point in the very first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam states that definition of absolute truth, that is, he is the primary cause of all causes, Janma Adiyasya Yatyanvayad. And then Krishna, or the absolute truth, he directly or indirectly knows everything. And then he is supremely independent. No one is his controller. He controls everything. On the other hand, he enlightened Brahma, the Vedic knowledge in the heart. And even the great sages and the devatas, they get confused or bewildered by his illusory potency of Lord Sri Krishna. And then we discussed about this, how this material cosmos, it looks to be real, but it's actually by his illusory energy as well. And he eternally exists in his transcendental abode. And then we discussed about things how Krishna Devapayana Vyasadeva, he was not satisfied, and then he wrote Srimad Bhagavatam by the inspiration of Narad Muni, his spiritual master. And then we've seen how the son of Drona is punished. And then we've seen about the prayer of Kunti Maharani, Vishnu Pitama, Uttara, and then Maharaj Parsh punishes Kali, as well as he rewarded Kali as well. He gave the places for Kali to reside. And then he was being cursed by Shringi. And then at the end, he went on the bank of Ganges to invited the sages to ask him what shall a person should do in the last 7 days. And then Sukdev Goswami appeared and he narrated the whole Srimad Bhagavatam to Parshit Maharaj. That was Canto 1. And in Canto 1, we have discussed about Lord Sukdev Goswami explains detail how Ashtanga Yoga and by how we can achieve liberation. And at the end, he establishes that the Bhakti is superior. He also described a bit about how this creation happens, the three Purusha avatars and the Guna avatars, how Lord expands this, and the Krishna's Leela avatars, many Leela avatars been described, nearly 22 Leela avatars. And then Chatushloki Bhagavat being described, and also Narad Muni discussed with Lord Brahma. And then the conclusion given by Lord Brahma that Krishna Bhakti is the topmost spiritual path. And then Lord Krishna spoke 4 slokas to Lord Brahma. That's called Chatushukli Bhagavata. And then we discussed about 10 division of Srimad Bhagavatam. There we end the study. So the 10 division with Srimad Bhagavatam. And I think I forgot to mention one more thing in this section was that this whole 12 canto of Srimad Bhagavatam is actually the limbs are being compared to limbs of Lord Sri Krishna as well. So this two feet of Lord feet is canto 1, canto 2, his thighs 3, 4, navel canto 5, his chest canto 6, his hands 7 and 8, and 9 is kantha, his neck, and 10th is face, and 11th is lalat, and 12th is his head. So that's how Srimad Bhagavatam is compared with Lord Sri Krishna's. Right. So that's we discussed yesterday a bit more elaborately, and today we'll continue with canto number 3. So canto number 3, the status quo. He says here we will see that how Sukadeva Goswami start narrating about Vidura. He says that Vidura actually went on pilgrimage. He met with Maitra Muni and they had a very nice conversation, a spiritual conversation. And the Parikshit Maharaj asks a question that when and where did Vidura went on pilgrimage and what was the reason for him? And so we understood that how this Mahabharata happens, and before the Mahabharata war, Vidura being he's actually is a good advisor, and he was a brother of Dhritarashtra as well. And as these Kauravas, they were against the Pandavas, and Vidura he suggested that you should give places for Yudhishthira Maharaj to rule, and it was against of Duryodhana, and then he asked him to go out from his palace, and then Vidura he thought, oh, it's a mercy of Lord, and then he went on pilgrimage. And then where he went to Pravas Kshetra, where he met Uddhava, and he met Uddhava, and then Uddhava and Vidura had a discussion, and Uddhava was actually overwhelmed by, he was actually shocked that Lord Krishna has left this world and leaving everything alone, and he could not speak anything. But however, in very quick time, he actually recapped all the pastimes of Lord Krishna has done to Vidura, and then at the end they had a lot of discussion, and then Vidura he wanted Uddhava to become his spiritual master and guide more on this discussion. And then Uddhava says, no, when Lord Krishna was speaking this knowledge to me, there was Maitra Muni with me as well, and you can go and take shelter of or discuss with Maitra Muni. So Vidura then, after discussing with Uddhava, he went and discussed with Maitra Muni, and there's a great discussion happened between Uddhava and Maitra Muni, where Maitra Muni explained the division of creation, how this creation happens, the what was Mahatattva, how these modes appeared, how the 3 gunas, how these elements comes, how this sound, air, fire, ether, everything comes. That's been described very detailed by Maitra Muni to Vidura. And then there, after that, how this even he describes about how in the creation from Garbhodakashayi Vishnu, this whole universe comes, and in lotus stem, actually Lord Brahma appears, and Lord Brahma went for many years of meditation, and then he could meditate on the 2 words tapa, and then he could see Garbhodakashayi Vishnu, and he instruct him how to create this universe. And after creating everything in universe, Krishna again enters in each atoms as Kshirodakashayi Vishnu, and then how the creation happens of this 4 sons appeared created by Lord Brahma to increase the population of Pragni. But these 4 Kumaras, they said, okay, Sanak, Sanandan, Sanatan, and Sanata, they said, no, we will remain celibacy, and please give me as a bone that we would remain as a child. So we know that Chatush Kumar, they are always as a child, and they roam around this universe as naked, as a small child. However, Lord Brahma was not satisfied. Though he granted, then he became a bit angry, and out of his angry, though he controlled it, but because of his angry, Lord Rudra, he appeared, and he was crying. Lord Rudra was crying, and then Lord Brahma says, "Okay, you are known as 11 forms of Rudra, and then there are 11 wives of Rudranis." And then he asks, "Okay, you create population then, but however, this all this Rudra, they started going against of Lord Brahma's desire." Then Lord Brahma says, "Okay, now you go and do austerity." That's why he sent them, so that no, he doesn't dissolve this universe. And uh, then he there were 10 more rishis being created by Lord Brahma, like Marichi, Bhrigu, Narada, Atri, Vasishta Muni, these kind of rishis. And then after that, yeah, so after that, Swayambhu Manu was being created. From one arm the Manu came, and one arm Saturupa. So these are the called as mankind. These are the, from there, this Manu, this progeny actually has came along. And this Manu, he asked that, okay, where the place, where to do this, where to keep everything, where the place. Then Lord Brahma, he meditated, and from his nostril Lord Brahma came, and he took out this universe and placed in the planet. And then the Swayambhu Manu and Shaturupa, they had five children, two son and three daughters, the Priyavrata and Uttanpad, and Akuti, three daughters, Akuti, Prasuti, and Yohuti. And then it's been described about this Kashyapa Muni and Diti. So Diti is the wife of Kashyapa Muni, and there's another wife, Aditi. So Diti and Aditi. So from anyone who came from Aditi, they becomes the demon lineage, and from Aditi it becomes all the devatas. So from Kashyapa Muni, right? So what happens is Diti actually he approached to Kashyapa Muni. Aditi is against daughter of Daksha Prajapati, and then she approached to Kashyapa Muni saying that I had a desire for a child. So please bestow me this boon. However, Kashyapa Muni said that this is not good time, and this is not a proper time for a progeny. And however, uh, as for the providence, he could not restrict Diti. And then the two sons, they came from Diti, well known as Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha, and they tormented this whole universe, kind of things. They control everything over there. However, Diti was a bit satisfied that, okay, though my son are demons, but still I'm happy that Lord Krishna or Lord Vishnu will be actually killing both. So, and then there is a description of Vaikuntha come, that in Vaikuntha everyone is in a 400 form, and everyone has their own plane to roam around. Everything is Chinmay there. So that description comes in Vaikuntha. So the point of Vaikuntha discussion after that is basically again the Jai Vijay, they are being cursed. So Jai Vijay, they are the doorkeepers in Vaikuntha Loka. And the description as came earlier as Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha, Lord Baraha has actually appeared to kill Hiranyaksha, and Lord Nrsimhadev appeared to kill Hiranyakashipu. So that the reason was here, that Jai Vijay being cursed by these four Kumaras, of four sons of Lord Brahma. What happens, we have discussed earlier in detail, that this Chatuskumara, they went to see Lord. However, they are being stopped by Jai Vijay, and then they are being cursed. Though it's again, Lord wanted to enjoy Birya Rasa. So we know about 5 rasas. Actually, there are 12 rasas. 5 are primary and 7 are secondary. So one of the rasas is Birya Rasa, or Krishna want to fight. So Krishna thought, whom can I fight? So that's why these two Jai Vijay, they took 3 incarnations, or 3 birth, as we can say, as Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyaksh, and then Ravana, and his brother Kumbhakarna, and Shishupal and Dantavakra. So these are three stages of Jai Vijay, and after this they went back to the spiritual world. So that's being described in this chapter, in this canto. And then there is nice story comes about the Kardamba Muni. Uh, Kardamba Muni was again a great rishi, and he was completely absorbed in meditation of Lord. He went for many thousand, 10,000 years of austerity and completely absorbed himself in Lord's feet. Lord was pleased, and then Kadam Muni had a desire to get a wife, so that he could fulfill the desire of his father Brahma, right, to increase the progeny again. So Lord Krishna, Lord Vishnu, he said that, okay, just 2 days after, uh, Dehuti will come to you and you accept her as your wife. And Dehuti is again one of the daughter of the Shambhamanu and Saturupa. So as per the providence, Devati, she was from daughter of king, or king of all mankind, Manu, and Kadara Muni was renounced. But uh, as Devati was being accepted by Kardama Muni, Devati, she very selflessly she served her husband Kardama Muni very nicely for many years. And one day she had a desire that I want to have family and a house as well. So seeing the desire of Dehuti, Kadana Muni, uh, by his mystic power, he made a mansion, and then there are so many planes, and then he could roam around anywhere they wished. They enjoyed his life for many years. And it's being said that by serving Kardama Muni in the forest, even Dehuti's whole body has become very weak, and like that. She went in a lake, and from the lake she came out as beautiful as he was earlier. And then this Kadam Muni, in fact, he expanded himself in 9 form, and they enjoyed for many years this household life, right? And after that, from Kadam Muni and Dehuti appeared a great personality, Lord Kapil Dev. And Lord Kapil Dev, he appeared and he gives a great instructions to Mother Dehuti. I would like to read some of the instructions what he gave to move forward. And Lord Kapil Dev says, even Mother Dehuti, she says that every learned man knows very well that attachment for the material is the highest entanglement of the spirit soul. So attachment to this material world is the highest entanglement of the spirit soul. But that same attachment, when applied to self-realized devotees, opens the door of liberation. So even in the same attachment, if it goes towards devotees, the person can get liberation or get liberated as well, right? So once, when Devati, she asked the instructions from, and she actually said this to Kandana Muni earlier, and then later on, Kapila Muni, he instructs this glorious path of devotional service to Mother Devati. Lord Kapil Dev, actually he instructed about Sankhya philosophy. I think I have yes. So he explained about Sankhya philosophy, about this metal nature, how it is. But at the end, he says, everything should be linked with Lord Sri Krishna. And then he says, he gives the quality of sadhu or a devotees. He says, the symptoms of a sadhu are that he is tolerant, he is merciful, he is friendly to all living entities, he has no enemies, he is peaceful, he abides by the scriptures, and by his character, and all his characters are sublime. And then he says, very importantly, he gives instruction after analyzing or discussing about this mental nature or Sankhya philosophy. He says that engaged constantly in chanting and hearing about me, or Lord Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the sadhus do not suffer from the material miseries, because they are always filled with the thoughts of my pastimes and activities. So, very first sloka of Srimad Bhagavatam, second sloka, he says, by hearing Lord Krishna's pastimes, the tritap goes away. So, tritap is the three kind of miseries. There are actually more, but three kind of miseries we can as categorize. Like one is the misery we get from our own mind and bodies. So we get sometimes sick, sometimes some mental pressures, or sometimes that things we get miseries. And the second type of misery we get is by the surroundings, by other people's. And the third type of misery we get by the natural calamities, like by tsunami, earthquake, and others. So these three type miseries can be can go away just by hearing about Lord Sri Krishna's pastimes and chanting his holy name and glorifying him. So after that, Lord Kapila Dev, he says that the importance of association of the devotees. He says, in the association of pure devotees, discussion of the pastimes and activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is very pleasing and satisfying to the ear as well as to the heart. So, by cultivating such knowledge, one gradually becomes advanced on the path of liberation, and therefore he is freed and his attraction becomes fixed. Then, real devotion and devotional service begins. So, how the real devotional service begins? By association of the devotees, and in the association of the devotees, when we hear about Krishna Katha, the glorious pastimes of Lord Hari, right? That's elaborately discussed. So, by stating this instructions to Kapila, to Mother Devahuti, again he says that a pure devotee, he doesn't, you know he even do not accept any kind of liberation. They only need, or they only want the service to Lord Sri Krishna. She says, Lord Kapila says, a pure devotee does not accept any kind of liberation like Shalokya, Sarishti, Samipya, Swarupya, or Ekatva, even though they are offered by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So the devotees, they do not accept any kind of liberation except the service to Lord Hari, in the or here glorious pastimes of Lord Hari in the association of the devotees. So these kind of instructions were given to Mother Devahuti by Lord Kapila Dev, and at the end he says the devotional service is the topmost of everything. And then person who are bereft of devotional service, being too attached to sense gratification. And then after instruction, he left. And then Mother Devahuti, she meditated on the instructions given by uh, Lord Kapila Dev. So that's a very quick summary of Canto 3. So we'll go into Canto 4 now. So in Canto 4, there is called a creation of the fourth order. So here, again, a great detail of lineage being described about the daughters of Manu, the three daughters Akuti, Prasuti, and Devahuti. And then a great discussion between Daksha and Lord Shiva. So Lord Shiva, he is actually son-in-law of Daksha Prajapati, or the daughter of Daksha Prajapati was Sati. And once in an assembly, everyone was there for a sacrifice, and Lord Daksha Prajapati, he came. However, Lord Shiva could not, he didn't get up from the seat, and it made Daksha Prajapati get insulted. He thought, is an insult to me. He is my son-in-law, and he didn't respect me, and that's why he started blaspheming Lord Shiva, and he blasphemed, and the sides of Lord Shiva's, Nandi and others, and from Daksha Prajapati, there's Bhrigu Muni and others, they all get entangled in the fight, and Lord Shiva didn't spoke any word. He silently went, left the assembly, right? However, just to take this revenge of Lord Shiva, Daksha Prajapati, he he made another sacrifice, and in that sacrifice, the sacrifice called as Vajpayee sacrifice, and very opulent sacrifice, and he invited all great personalities over there except Lord Shiva. So even Lord Shiva's wife Sati, Mother Sati, could see that the planes are going away towards his father's house, but she says, okay, let's go. And the Lord Shiva says, no, it's not, because we are not being invited. Then Mother Sati says, it's our family, so it's not required there to invite. We can go. And then Lord Shiva instructed that no, yes, our family members, they do not oblige to invite us, but if they do it intensely, then we should not go there. However, Lord Shiva wanted to stop Mother Sati, but at the end, Mother Sati did not accepted the words of Lord Shiva, and she went there, and the conclusion happened. It did not. She was not being respected by anyone, and even she was ignored by his father Daksha. Though it's being described that Daksha Prajapati was very much, favorable or very much lovable towards Mother Sati, but she was ignored there. And by saying all this, Sati, in the meditation of Lord Shiva, she gave up her body, and she went in the fire. We see that in the next she take again birth as Parvati, the daughter of Himalaya, and then again she meditated on the instruction of Lord Narad Muni, and she got Lord Shiva again as her husband. However, when Sati left her body, uh, this the party from Lord Shiva, they went there, and then they started killing others. Even Daksha Prajapati's head has been chopped off as well. However, and then Lord Brahma came there to intervene with Lord Shiva, and he wanted to stop this all fight. And Lord Shiva said, okay. He accepted anything. He said, these all devatas, they fight with each other. They are ignorant, so I don't take any offense. However, as the head of the Daksha is being chopped off, so the goat, or one of the goat head being kept with the Daksha Prajapati, and then sacrifice being continued. So that's a very brief discussion between what this Daksha Prajapati and Lord Shiva pastimes. And then the description of Adharma is given. Adharma came from the back of Lord Brahma, like bluffing, cheating, anger, envy, death, fear, hell, all these things. However, the interesting thing we have seen that by hearing the description of Adharma in the Srimad Bhagavatam, a person, he becomes dharmic. He doesn't start it. He understand about these things, and he don't do bluffing, cheating, or he become very clean from these adharmas, right? And then there's a great personality, Dhruv Maharaj, that's being described over there. Uh, how is Uttanpad has two wives, Surichi and Suniti. So Surichi was actually very dear to Uttanpad, and his son was Uttama. And Suniti's son was Dhruv Maharaj. And once what happened, Dhruv Maharaj wanted to sit on the lap of his father Uttanpad. However, Surichi was present there, and she pulled him out, and she said that no, if you want to sit on the lap of your father Uttanapad, then you have to come through my womb. It means indirectly you have to die. So as Dhruv Maharaj, he actually went to Mother Suniti, and he said this is a thing, and Mother Suniti asked her, okay, so you should worship Lord Vishnu. And with a great dedication, in the 5 years, Dhruv Maharaj, he went on the forest for austerity, and we have seen how Lord Narada comes and he intervened in between that. Okay, this is time for playing. It's not time for austerity. And then Dhruv Maharaj says, if you can guide me toward the right path, please instruct me. Otherwise, leave my path. And Narad Muni was pleased, and he instructed him about how he can worship, and he can make a small deity of in a of mud, and then he can worship. So Dhruv Maharaj, he did a great austerity. He was standing on his one toe, and because of the austerity, the earth started moving, in one-sided. So then Lord Lord Krishna Vishnu, he came by pleased with Dhruv Maharaj. He came there, and then the discussion happened. So actually, as he was 5 years, not know understand what to say, what not to say. But as soon as Lord Vishnu, by his conch, touched to Dhruv Maharaj, he was enlightened by spiritual knowledge. And then he paid his obeisances, and he says very nicely that I was searching for broken glasses, but I've got a gem now. I do not need anything else. So Dhruv Maharaj has a desire to get a kingdom even bigger than his grandfather, that is Lord Brahma, right? However, he says now, I don't want anything else because I've got you. So, however, Lord says, because you have done austerity, I should give you something. And then Dhruv Maharaj, he ruled the world for, I think, 60,000 years. And then he went back to Godhead. And even he has, one more uh, a planet for him, Dhruva planet, Dhruva. So, and then in the lineage of Dhruv Maharaj, it's come Prithu Maharaj. So, Prithu Maharaj is basically what happened is, in this lineage, there after many lineage a king called as Anga. So, Anga had a son called as Vena. So, this Anga, as Vena, he was very crooked actually. So, even Anga Maharaj, he had no son, though. So he approached to the sages and he said, what shall we do? And they arranged for a sacrifice. And then from sacrifice, the oblation was given to his wife, I think Sunita. And then she, uh, anyway, they had this son Vena, but Vena was very crooked. So as Vena became, he used to take all the small boys and put on the well, and he used to kill like that. But Anga was became very disturbed by this activities of his son. And then he was thinking, earlier I was good, okay, that I don't have any son, but now having a son like this is again more, difficult, it's more bad. So he left the kingdom. And then Vena, he became the king. And he went against of all spiritual injunctions. And he even blasphemed the sages. And he says, sages, you do not know what to do, and you should worship me. I'm the king. But we see that how the, uh, the sages, they curse him. And Anga, by the curse, he has died. Actually, by the mantras, they made Anga die. And then after that, they churned because there needs someone to rule. So they churned this, thighs of Anga, and from there a Bahuka comes. And then after that, from the two arms, they started churning two arms of this Anga. And in from one arm, uh, Prithu Maharaj, who is again incarnation of Lord Hari, uh, he came. And from other hand, incarnation of goddess of fortune, Archie. So they came and they ruled. And as Prithu Maharaj came, there before he started ruling, his glories being sang all over this world. Right? That's the discussion about Prithu Maharaj. And then Prithu Maharaj did a sacrifice, and even he uh, Prithu Maharaj actually he went for 100 sacrifice. And we know that when someone does 100 sacrifice, a horse sacrifice, Indra becomes, he is alarmed. He wanted to stop this sacrifice somehow or other. So he used to hide this horse many a time. And as he's being hiding the horse, Prithu Maharaj's son, uh, uh, I think Vijit, he 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 used to bring back the son, but bring back the horse, but not killing Indra. But at the end, Prithu Maharaj became very much angry, and he wanted to kill Indra. But Lord Brahma comes and intervenes in between, says, leave it here. You should stop this sacrifices. Should not do. Though Prithu Maharaj then stopped sacrifices, and by stopping the last sacrifice, actually Lord Vishnu appeared before him. He said, I am completely pleased with you. Right. So, and then again, there's a lineage of Prithu Maharaj being described. In this lineage, we see Prachetas. So we have seen how Prachetas are being instructed by Lord Shiva, because Prachetas, they are 10th son of Prithu Maharaj. These are called as Prachetas. So these Prachetas, uh, when they were instructed to go to rule the kingdom or to enter household life, they went for sacrifice, for austerities. And Lord Shiva, he made in between them and he guided them that how you should do austerity. Though you seen how Rudra Gita, so Lord Rudra, he instructed his Parashitas that okay, you go and worship Lord Vishnu and meditate on him. And these all 10 sons, they went under the water and they did austerity for a long time. And that's how they pleased Lord Hari as well. And we'll see in between what happened while these Prachetas were into the austerities. There is a Prashina Bahari. He was completely kind of engaged in animal killing for the ruling his kingdom. But Narad Muni, he came and he narrated a very nice story. Remember that how this Puranjana and Puranjini, this Vaidarvi, how it happens, this Atma, this Agyata friend, the super soul, how the super soul entangled with his body. It has 9 holes and it goes around the cities, all these things elaborately. And then how at the end the time attacks to this body. So ultimately, by this narration, Narad Muni wanted to say to Prachina Bahari that its time has come and you should stop all this and go on to Lord Lotus feet. And then Prachetas, after the austerity, they saw Lord Vishnu. And then Narad Muni instructs the Prachetas on devotional service. So Narad Muni, he says very nicely, I'll read it out actually, 2 slokas to when Lord Vishnu says that to Prachetas, that those who are engaged in auspicious activities in devotional service certainly understand that the ultimate enjoyer or beneficiary of the all activities is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita as well, Bhoktaram Yagatapasham Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. Thus, when one acts, he offers the results to the Supreme Personality of Godhead and passes life always engaged in the topics of Lord Hari. Even though such a person may be practicing in family life, he is not attached by the results of his action. So it's a very good instructions to all of us, because we are all in family life. And Krishna says that being in family life, if we can offer our things to Lord Hari, if we can engage our time by discussing Krishna Katha, then there certainly the persons or we won't be affected by the results of our actions, right? And then Narad Muni, he says that very nice instructions about the worship of Lord Hari. He says, as pouring water on the roots of the tree energizes the trunk, the branches, the twigs, and everything else, and as supplying food to the stomach enlivens the senses and the limbs of the body, simply worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead through devotional service automatically satisfies the demigods who are the parts of the Supreme Personality. So there's instructions given by Narad Muni that as just by watering to the root, the trees, the fruits, twigs, leaves, trunk, everything get energized. In the same way, by worshipping Lord Sri Krishna through devotional service, all others, the devatas, they are completely satisfied. Right? I think that's what the last point. And anyone have any question or any thoughts on these 2 cantos? I think I was today was fast, so please forgive for that. Okay. If there is no question, then all okay. So tomorrow is again a Thursday, but tomorrow we will continue our Srimad Bhagavatam again from 8 p.m. So we will try to cover 5 and 6, hopefully. Right. So thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining, and please forgive me today I was very fast. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की
भागवतम की जय
प्रभुपाद की
जय
कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की
जय
हरे कृष्ण.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Prabhu,
Yes, Prabhu.
Prabhu, my connection was getting disconnected.